Hi, I'm Dr. R.G. Allen Wilson. You may recognize me as a leading relationship expert for TV programs such as CNN, The Today Show, Good Day Philly, Fox 29, Tamron Hall Show, Mel Robbins Show, and local and national radio shows, just to name a few. I want to invite you to a very awesome opportunity that will enhance your life. Having courageous conversations that connect is key for a healthy relationship with ourselves and others. Knowing the right strategies and techniques aren't as simple as we think. There are principles to understanding how we all think and feel. Right now, you can join in my free quarantine talks to learn what others spend thousands of dollars in therapy to know. Each day, while we are in quarantine at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can watch, listen, and learn tips that will help you get through this challenging time in our lives. Here's the good news. There is absolutely no cost for you to participate. Tune in on YouTube, Facebook, and the Gram at Ask Dr. RG. I look forward to seeing you join our crew. And that's connecting relationships for epic wins. Have a beautiful day on purpose. From my heart to yours. Hey everybody, this is Dr. RG here. Welcome to the Courageous Conversations Connect Space Quarantine Talks. Today is November 11th, 2020. This is our 33rd week of doing this. This is our 83rd episode. Whew. I don't know how y'all feel, but I feel like a sigh of relief. So welcome to our crew, Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins. We got a great topic for you today. Our topic today is get ready, be ready, and guess what? Stay ready. Get ready, be ready, and stay ready, because our work is not done. Even though we can take a little bit of a sigh of relief about the election, and we know Philly came through big, so shout out to Philly. We still got work to do, guys. We still got work to do. I see Deborah on. Good morning, Deborah. Yes, we did it. The crew showed up big time. I see Deanna Nicole Murray on. Good morning, Deanna. I know some of you are also on in Facebook world and YouTube, in the YouTube space, if you will, certainly in IG. So welcome again. And I don't know if Morgan, he left out. We've got a lot of work going on around the house, so he left out to do a few things. So I'm not even sure if he turned IG on. So if you did, great. Hi, IG family. If not, hopefully he'll come back and turn you guys on. Hey, Stephanie, good morning. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for reminding me. Dr. Gail, good morning. Happy Veterans Day. So shout out to all the veterans. We're going to talk about that today. All the veteran families, because it's your sacrifice too. We live and we are safe in this place that we call some people say United States of America. I call it the yet to be United States, because we still got work to do. But we are here because there are millions of veterans that put their lives on the line so that we can have liberty and freedom and be safe. And so shout out to all those veterans on today. We honor you, but not just today. We honor you every day. Every day. And yes, Dr. Gail, I'm so excited too, right? So listen, we are going to take a quick break, but I want you all to think about the topic today. Get ready, be ready, and stay ready. Happy Veterans Day. Fine, let's talk about whether or not you're ready, because we're still in a fight. This is not over, right? We still got Georgia's still, has a runoff in January, and we still have to continue to think about what is going on in our communities. The rates of this COVID-19 are still elevating. The cases as well as the deaths are elevating. We are in a second wave, and this is the twindemics. We're calling it twindemics because it's the flu season as well as COVID-19. So we got to stay ready. We got to stay in the fight. We got to continue to protect ourselves. The funniest thing is, and I'll tell you that when we come back from break, I was listening to TV this morning and they gave some new information from the CDC. And I was like, that's not a news flash to us. But I'll tell you about that on the other side. Listen, think about who you're breathing for and with, because we're still going to do our exercises. We're going to take a quick break from our sponsors, and we will be right back. Stay with us. Hey guys, all right, this is Dr. RG here. I don't know what's happening. You all know we broadcast from our home in our home office, and it looks like the electricity went out, or at least in my room, it did. So, but the computer is still going on. So we're just going to keep going on while Morgan kind of steps out. Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay. All right. So while Morgan figures that out, we're going to keep going. Figure out why the electricity went out, but my computer is still going on. And you all let me know if you see anything that looks different, if you can't hear me or if you can't see me. But nevertheless, this is Courageous Conversations Connect Space Quarantine Talks. Again, this is November 11th, believe it or not, 2020. And today's topic is get ready, be ready, and stay ready. So I see Dr. Gail Logan on, Stephanie's on, good morning, Deanna's on. I also saw Deborah, thank you for joining. Do me a favor, this is gonna be a great conversation. So, text a friend, tell someone that we're on. Our crew, Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins, is on. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube page at Ask Dr. RG, hit the notification bell so that you can get notifications of what we're doing. Also, make sure that you, let others know that we are on. Hey, Treasure, good morning. Whew. So let's do this. It's almost, I came back on. It's almost 10:10. Please hit me in the chat and tell me who you're breathing for or with. We've got several things to celebrate. On Saturday, we got notification, everyone all across the country and all across the world, that the Democratic nomination, the ticket of Vice President Joe Biden, got the nomination for the 46th president of the United States, as well as Kamala Harris, who will be our next VP, the first Black woman in the second. All right, guys, I think I'm back. I put you guys I put it on my hotspot. I just put it on my hotspot. Okay, so okay, can you tell me if you see me? Okay. All right, Frozen Deer. Somebody said, lost me, frozen. Tell me if I'm back. We're having some work done at our house. And so probably the timing is all off in terms of what they're doing downstairs, and that's throwing us off. So I do apologize for that. You all tell me if you can see me, if I'm back on. Yes. So Dr. Gail Logan said, I'm breathing for my brother Nancy Tyrone Patrick, who passed in 2018 in Arizona at the age of 68. Okay, yes, back. All right. So breathing for her brother, Dr. Gail. Who are you breathing for? I will tell you, this is who I'm breathing for. I'm breathing for Sylvia says she sees me. Great. I'm breathing for all the people who have died.
We're back. If you want to get back. You hear me? I can't hear you. You got to take me off mute. You take the
I'm just going to keep it on my hotspot right now, just in case it happens again.
Difficulties, having work done in the house, and the power went out. So sorry about that.
Right. Okay. That's okay. Everybody says I'm back. So what I was saying is I'm breathing for all the people that are getting cases of COVID-19. As well as this flu season and all those essential workers. Y'all remember what we were experiencing back in March and April and May, and that's starting to happen again. And so we cannot forget those essential workers that are putting themselves on the line for all the people that are sick. I'm also breathing for those persons who are being diagnosed recently with COVID-19 and anyone who is suffering due to the loss of a loved one due to COVID-19. And of course, I'm breathing for all of the veterans, those who have passed on and that gave their ultimate sacrifice for us, as well as those veterans right now and those families that are now presently giving their sacrifices for us, right? Dr. Gail said her brother's birthday is today, so she's breathing for him. So wonderful. Let's get into our stance. We're only about 3 minutes behind with all the technical difficulties. Stephanie says she's breathing for this country. That's a good thing because we're still in a fight, Stephanie, crew. We're still in the fight. So middle finger to your thumb or the hands over your one hand or to your side. Let's get comfortable. Kind of stretch your back, arch your neck a little bit, move it around, if you will. And I don't know if Morgan if turned on the phone for the IG family. So if you are here with us, IG family, thank you for joining, as well as our YouTube family, as well as our Facebook family. I see Barbara. Hey, Barbara, good morning. She says, amen. So tell me all also who y'all are breathing for. And I'm breathing, of course, for our Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, HBCU alumni that I share. Y'all see my hat back there, holding to the back, as well as our new president-elect, Joe Biden. They've got definitely a fight on their hands. So at the sound of my voice, I'm going to count to 3. We're going to breathe in through our nose, and we're going to breathe out through our mouth. We're going to hold it for 8 seconds like we normally do, still in honor of George Floyd. It's on? Okay. Still in honor of George Floyd. So our IG family is with us. And then we're going to breathe out. But we're also breathing in hope and peace and serenity and calm. And we're going to breathe out fear and worry and anger and frustration and anxiety. Okay? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. And breathe out. Feel your tummy expand. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Last time, crew, make it count. Big breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. That felt good, right? Felt good. So I see Cynthia's on, Sylvia, Dr. Gail, Barbara. Thank you guys for joining. So let's get into it. Treasure, I see you. Deanna was on. I hope she's still on. And Deborah. I want to talk about, since we're honoring Veterans Day, first, share with us if you know someone that was a veteran, or if you're a veteran, you're always a veteran, but that is here as a veteran or
has passed on. And if you can share a little bit about your story. The reason why I think I came up with the title for today of Get Ready, Be Ready, Stay Ready is because when you're in the military, you have to get ready. There's some preparation to this process, right? And then you have to be ready and you have to stay ready. You're always on guard because your job is to protect and to serve. And so I said in my post a little bit earlier that we live because they serve, right? So when we say thank you for your service, we mean hopefully that we understand clearly that we don't have the liberties that are afforded to us without veterans who serve us as a community, as a human race, as a people that are deserving of being protected. Barbara says, I am a veteran and my dad, Rip, was a veteran as well. Well, thank you. Thank you, Barbara, for your service as a veteran, and thank your father for protecting us. My father is a veteran. He's 85 years young. Well, he will be 85 years young come December 8th, 2020. And he served, he was drafted during a time where he was a young man, and he had just gotten married, and he was drafted and ended up having to go into the service. And my mother joined him shortly thereafter. And so he often says that he grew up in the service, that he really needed that commitment, that discipline in order to develop him as a man. The other person that I think of is Gene Austin Jefferson, who is my husband Morgan's spiritual father, and certainly I consider him to be one of my deepest friends, as well as a spiritual father in his own right to me as well. And he served 3 terms. If I say that wrong, Morgan will correct me, but I believe that he served 3 tours in Vietnam.
There you go, tours.
3 tours in Vietnam, and has all kinds of accolades to his account. He led troops. He was in charge, and he was making decisions that were life and death decisions that not only affected the people that he was in charge of, but affected people that he may never have met. And so, although he doesn't always speak about it, when he does, I'm in awe of the man that he is and the message that he gives in the way in which he conducts himself in leadership. So shout out to my father, Hildred G. Allen, and also our spiritual father, Gene Austin Jefferson. Sylvia said, she is a veteran. Oh, I didn't even know that. So thank you for your service, Sylvia. Her dad and cousin are also veterans. Major appreciation to all of you all that are serving. Sylvia and Barbara, part of our crew. We are so honored, quite frankly, to have you as a part of our crew, connecting relationships for epic wins, when the reality is you've been doing the good work of humanity by serving our country. And I don't take that lightly. So there's a couple things that are happening in the world that I wanted us to process and to talk about. This is a place where we are able to process our anxiety, our fear, our angst, our frustration, sometimes our disappointment. And so I'm just going to throw a couple of things out there that took place last week in an unprecedented election, if you will. So the election was on Tuesday. I took off from work to just relax and take in the election, and call some of the seniors, as I told you that I was going to just kind of ease their anxiety. And the numbers started coming in, and it looked as if that the numbers were higher for Trump. But what I knew, and I think many of us all knew, was that a lot of people voted by mail, or they went to some of the satellite, or they voted early in some of the states where they could vote early. They went to the satellite election centers and they turned in their ballots there. So I then knew the numbers would flip. But I don't know if y'all felt this, but even though I knew that, I had some anxiety about, oh goodness gracious, what's going to happen? And in the final analysis, I settled myself down. I knew Philly was key, right? I knew that Philly was one of those areas that was highly populated with many people of color, many Black and brown people. And I knew that we had had enough. We had had enough of being disenfranchised. We had had enough, or we have had enough of being marginalized, being othered, being oppressed. We have had enough of being in places and spaces where there's not social equity and inclusion and diversity and a sense of belonging. And certainly we have had enough of systemic racism that permeates the atmosphere like an ugly stain that impacts us on a daily basis, whether we're in the streets or the suites. So I knew that Black and brown people would come out to vote. I knew that. I also knew that women, and this is something I really do want to talk about in terms of get ready, be ready, stay ready, because in particular, women, and specifically Black women, Black and brown women, have been the cornerstone. We show up, we vote, we canvas, we volunteer, we do so many things, and oftentimes are not necessarily given the credit that we deserve. And it's very, very interesting. I'm not sure if this has ever happened to you when a woman, I am a Black woman, I am a proud Black woman, I'm an African American woman, I am an alumni of an HBCU, specifically Howard University. If y'all are out there in the crew, my Howard University alumni, just say HU. I am also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So I have a lot of organizations. I'm also a proud member of Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, where I grew up. My grandparents joined that church in the 1940s, believe it or not. And then their 9 children were members, and their children's children, and their children's children's children were members of that church. And so I know what it feels like to belong, but I also know what it feels like to be a Black woman that oftentimes doesn't get the credit for standing up and for showing up and for speaking up and for being the voice of the people. And so when I've been doing a lot of clinical work lately, I've been thinking about the women that I serve as a clinician, and how oftentimes we as Black women feel othered. Interesting enough, Morgan put HU, shout out if if you're a member of HU, and even at HBCU. I was watching CNN yesterday, and Eva Longoria came on to the Joy Reid show, and she apologized, and I thought it was a heartfelt apology. She apologized to Black women because she had stated a tweet that somehow marginalized. And I can't tell you because I was so tired last night that I know the exact statement that she made. What I do know is that she said that she felt that her statement was off-putting to Black women all over the U.S. And I can only fathom that what was stated was something around, why are we, getting credit for the voting block when there were other brown women and other white women and other women who didn't vote or who voted as well. And I guess the question I pose to you today is, do we always have to one-up each other? Can we not just give each other credit where credit is due for the ways in which we've shown up, right? So when you say Black Lives Matter, for example, does that mean all lives don't? I don't think that's what that means. But even in the presentation that I was doing recently, there was a question about my statement about Black Lives Matter. And the truth is, the reason why Black Lives Matter became a movement was because in too many places and spaces in the US and abroad, Black lives don't and haven't. There's 401 years of history and factual information to support that we haven't mattered, and we haven't gotten a seat at the table, and we haven't been been given equity in the way in which we should have. And so it doesn't mean that all lives don't matter. It just means that those of us who have been marginalized and othered and degraded and oppressed and discriminated against have a right to rise up and have belief in ourselves that we do matter as well, right? The other thing I want to say is, what areas do you feel like you still have work to do, crew, in terms of getting ready, being ready, and staying ready? Barbara says, if all lives matter, then why aren't you mad? Or why are you mad? Yeah, Yeah, I get it. If all lives matter, she says, then why aren't you mad? Um, I think that there is a conversation to be had about how we do better. You know how that statement goes, be better, not bitter? We've got to figure out how it is that we work collaboratively. The best example that I can give sometimes is that somebody will be talking about their bad day. Have you ever had that experience? Somebody's talking about their bad day and they were sick, they got sick at work, the kids are on their nerves, they're having a difficult time, they're feeling blue. You might call somebody up for, just to have a listening ear. And before you know it, that person has upped you with their pain, one up your pain. So therefore, they're like, you think you had a bad day. Well, let me tell you about my bad day. And I think to myself, I actually think since I'm the therapist and I do this for a living and I see the pain, there's actually newsflash, guys, newsflash in IG family, newsflash Facebook family, YouTube family. There's really enough pain to go around. We don't have to go one up in each other's pain. We don't have to say, like, okay, since we are a marginalized group and we've been struggling, then some other group comes along and says, you know what, your struggle is, let's minimize your struggle and let's talk about our struggle. We've been pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps too. No. How about we have empathy for each other? How about we be truthful and honest about what has happened and who it has happened to, and the people that actually show up and show out, even in the midst of their pain. That's what happened in this election. In the midst of pain, in the midst of social unrest, in the midst of these protests, in the midst of two pandemics, COVID-19 and systemic racism, in the midst of super spreaders all over the place, in the midst of all of that, with elevated levels of COVID-19 and elevated levels of, violence, domestic violence and depression, we showed up and showed out and began to realize that our vote matters. We do matter. Black and brown people matter in this country. And what we need is we need white allyship. We need our white brothers and sisters to stand in solidarity with us. We need to all get ready and be ready and stay ready and lock arms and acknowledge the atrocities that have taken place, and then continue the journey of dismantling systemic racism and all the structures that have been elevated to keep people out and keep people down, keep people othered and keep people marginalized. We need to lock arms and dismantle that so that we can build a more perfect union where we all do matter. Guess what? And when we do that, when we cast out or elevate anti-racism and cast out racism, and when all lives actually do matter, no matter who you are on this planet, you're a part of the human race, and we embrace our similarities and we acknowledge our differences. When that really happens, then we don't have to have small groups that say, we matter. Hey, we matter. We pay attention. See us. We are not invisible. We don't have to do that anymore, because we will have created, as a human race, a more perfect union where we all have a seat at the table and we can find common ground that helps us all to not just survive, but thrive. Mahatma Gandhi said, we must be the change we wish to see. How about you? How about me? This is our crew. If not us, then who? Right? If not when now, then when? So the get ready, be ready, stay ready is that we still got work to do. It's great to celebrate, guys. I've been celebrating since Saturday and feeling really great about it. But we still have work to do and we can't relax. The virus is still out there. This is holiday time. I do want to talk about what people are doing. Share with me what you think that you're going to do for Thanksgiving. It is a time usually where we're used to spending time with our families, giving thanks for the year, but we're used to coming together in sometimes small spaces and having a wonderful meal together. And usually it's a lot of people that maybe you haven't seen for a while. But is it a smart thing to do? Is it a prudent thing to do just because you want to do it? Because the truth is, and the thing I said I was going to tell you that I heard about the CDC. The CDC said, I heard this morning, that wearing masks not only protect the other person, but they've now gone on record to say that if you wear a mask, it protects you too, the mask wearer. And I sat on the bed and I was like, I just smiled. I was like, is that the news flash? I mean, to me, it just seems like rocket science that if it were to protect other people, it would protect you too. So, hey, we've been wearing masks for a long time and not being our true selves. What's a little bit longer to wear a cloth mask to protect both yourself and other people that you love? I want to hear, I see a lot of comments, so I want to hear what your comments are. And we're going to figure out as we come back from this quick break, how we get ready, how we be ready, and how we stay ready. Stay with me. We'll be right back.
We bring in a friend who we've known for years and years and years. He's an author, relationship therapist, Dr. R.G. Alan Wilson.
Some expert advice on how we can all talk to them. Joining us now is relationship expert Dr. R.G. Alan Wilson. She's the author of Courageous Conversations Connect. Good morning, R.G.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Janelle. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
And as we mentioned, a lot of people just dealing with anxiety during all of this. What are your suggestions?
Some of the things that we need to remember is that this is temporary. This is temporary inconvenience for long-term gain. And as long as we stay healthy, Janelle, then everything else is recoverable.
Talk to your children about what's happening right now. What are the best ways to do that?
There's some do's and don'ts, right? So you want to tell them that you're going to be here. We're going to be okay. Kids want to know that they're secure and they're safe. So predictability, structure, and consistency. You also want to let them know you have a plan. And even if you don't have a plan, tell them that you're working on one.
Hey there, Dr. RG here. This is the Courageous Conversations Connect Space Quarantine Talks. Today is November 11th, 2020. It's 10:34 a.m. and we're talking about the topic of get ready, be ready, and stay ready. And I said in that clip, even if you don't have a plan, act like you're working on a plan, especially with your kids. But because we believe that people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And so I want to read a couple of these comments here. Let's see which one. I got to get back to the one that Morgan has. It starts with people. Okay, gotcha. More. Sylvia says, people are exhausted. Black and brown people are exhausted, tired of the continuous assault. Van Jones said it very well. Tired of trying to continue to prove we deserve a seat at the table, be in the room where it happens. Absolutely agree to that. People are tired and exhausted. Dr. Gail says, the pattern of the tendency to be one up is to dismiss progress and not give the significance to the ongoing problem. We must continue to speak out and stand up. Everyone must speak out. True words, Dr. Gail, true words. And Barbara says, duh, the mask, what I was talking about before, where if you wear a mask, it will protect other people. And guess what? Newsflash, if you wear the mask, it will also protect you. It just makes sense, right? Doctors wear masks all the time. Nurses, medical professionals, they're not doing it just to prevent themselves from harming you. They're doing it to not be harmed themselves. Also, Jen said that she is preaching. She's going back to work. And so please give her your prayers as she goes back to work. Let's see. So when we think about this last 2 months, we are in November, believe it or not, of 2020. Hasn't 2020 been a doozy? A lot of people are saying cancel 2020. I'm like, no. Let's not cancel 2020. let's learn from 2020. Tell me what 2020 has taught you about how to get ready, be ready, and stay ready. We know that there are some races in Georgia that need to continue, but we also know that wherever you live, there may be cases of COVID-19 that are rising. We also know that our children are still, many of them, experiencing distance learning and sometimes really struggling with how to make that happen. We also know that parents are still working from home and probably overwhelmed by the level of screen time that they have to experience in their meetings. I know that people, and it's myself included, have been having some physical challenges because of just sitting too long. So I have to I have a desk now where I can stand my desk up so I can do my clinical hours standing up. So I do one clinical hour standing up, one sitting down, one standing up, one sitting down, like that. And then I also try to, go up and down the steps a couple times when I have a break in between, because the body gets sedentary and it needs to move, if you will. So these challenges are happening, and we have 2 months, less than 2 months left in this year. What will you do? How will you finish strong? What does that look like? Please tell me in the chat. What are the things that you still feel like you have left to do in 2020 to then finish strong and then go into 2020 with all the ammunition that you need in order to be victorious, really, in order to live your best life, in order to actually express the highest version of yourself? And what does that even look like? That is aspirational, but it can also be inspirational and motivational when we're actually living out the best version of ourselves. That doesn't mean you're done. It just means you're a work in progress. We're all a work in progress, and we're on our way. So what does that look I'm finishing strong because I will, or because I've done XYZ. What are you doing? And I will start. I am finishing strong November and December because I've elevated the gift that God has given me to be a wounded healer to other people. You all know we scaled our business 2 years ago. You all also know that I left Drexel as the director of clinical training in December of 2018. So I'm about to embark on 2 years having left the place that I was in for almost 22 years, either as a student or as an employee. And it was scary. It was very, very scary. And the first year I left trembling, really, to be honest with you, because I wasn't really sure what the future was going to hold. And even though I knew that I am great at what I do, I just was fearful of the unknown. My pastor often says sometimes we are so, how does he put it, that we would rather live in a known hell than an unknown future. And so that's kind of how I was. And now, embarking on the last quarter of 2020, I realized I'm stronger than I ever thought I was. And, y'all remember when we talked about grit? My grit was gratitude, resilience, integrity, and tenacity. And I use those as an anchor to continue to usher me through. And it will continue to usher me through to finish strong into 2021. Tell me, y'all. And I hear what Jen says the numbers are going up. So many people are wearing their mask properly, need to get ready and stay ready. There's lots of seniors in her community. So I truly breathe for them, she says. Absolutely. And we need to honor our seniors and our neighbors and our family members. Is it really worth it? Do you think it's really worth it to just do what you want to do? Maybe have a big, beautiful Thanksgiving dinner. Then after the dinner, wonder whether or not you've actually been asymptomatic and if you harm somebody else. Now, I'm not talking about, by the way, I'm not talking about the people that have been in pods, right? So Morgan and I are in our own little pod, and we're going to do a small Thanksgiving dinner, just he and I. My sisters, they're in their pods, so they kind of know, even though my one sister goes to work, she has to go to the hospital, but she wears her mask at all times in the hospital. She's very, very safe. So she'll be in her pod. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, is it worth it to like have these big dinners just because it's what you want to do and just because it's what you've always done? And then you find yourself susceptible to being harmed by this virus or harming somebody else. Is it really worth it? Larissa says 2020 has been a learnative experience. I have opened my doors and windows every day to let fresh air in, and my relationship with God has been enhanced. I love it. I love it. So that's if you've learned from it, that's really a good thing. And Deborah Reed says, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it in terms of, having these big dinners. I would really appeal to our crew because we've got strength in numbers. We can set a tone for the places and spaces and for the people in our community to actually do what I would consider to be the right thing, right? It's very hard, quite frankly, to speak truth to power. It is. It's hard to, when someone says, hey, girl, don't worry about it. We're going to all be okay. We've been doing, our thing. We've been doing okay thus far. It's very hard to say no, not this time. This time we'll call, we'll do a Zoom, we'll reach out to one another. But this particular holiday, we're going to spend it in our pods, and we're going to be prayerful, and we're going to be hopeful, and we're going to share in spirit, but not necessarily in the physical realm. So that, as I said in the beginning of this journey back in March when we started quarantine talks, I said, if we grow through this and we have our health and our strength, everything else is recoverable. Everything. But if we're not here, if the COVID takes us and we check out of here, then we can't recover because we're not here. Now, depending on what you believe, there is a better place in store for us, but do you really want to check out earlier than what you would like to? So no, I don't believe that it's worth it. And I believe that we need to do the necessary things to keep ourselves safe and healthy. But then there's some other things, right? When you think about how do you get ready? How do you be ready? How do you stay ready? I don't really believe, guys, in coincidences. I believe that opportunity or preparation rather meets opportunity. And just like in the military, just like we're honoring those veterans are prepared. They train, they practice, they go over their drills over and over and over. That's the process of getting ready. So that when their opportunity comes where there's something that happens, they will be ready. And then that means that they will always also stay ready. I read that, babe. I read that already. I read that too. Go all the way down. The last one is Jen. Yeah. And she said November and December will continue to be a blessing to others as I've in her church prayer line that she's taken over. And she's such amazing feedback, plus an attendance of 25 people. So awesome. Relationship with God is much stronger. And she likes to mention earlier that we need empathy in times like this. Awesome. So one, praises up for the prayer line, and Jen can put that prayer line in if you're looking for prayer. She's a wonderful person and resource in our crew for that. And you're right, we do need empathy. Sylvia says, I am finishing strong these last 2 months in preparation for a pivotal career change, trusting God, hearing God through the new. Awesome, Sylvia. So that's, what I was talking about before in terms of that career move. Sometimes we talk ourselves out of it. We have stinking thinking that says we're not enough. Sometimes we are fearful of the unknown, and we can be our own worst enemies. So the preparation is essential. And then in terms of getting ready for the next level, we are in the final quarter of this year. And I have to say, if you haven't learned something about yourself and the people that you're living with, then I really don't even know what to say, because this really is a phenomenal time to really learn about yourself and figure out how it is that you can use those lessons to usher you into 2021. And with that, I want to read a little excerpt from week 45. It's entitled Preparation. And it goes like this. The courageous conversation portion, it says, be thankful for the opportunity to prepare for what's next. I want to say that again. Be thankful for the opportunity to prepare for what's next. Sometimes we're so busy thinking about the past that we can't even focus on the present, and we certainly can't prepare for what's next. And I always like to say, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. The question is not, will opportunity come knocking at your door? The question is, when opportunity comes knocking, will you be ready? Hence, get ready, be ready, and stay ready. Most of us view certain times of the year as a time of reflection and renewal in order to restart the focus on some goals, some of our goals that we haven't quite completed yet. The truth is that we don't have to wait until any particular season rolls around. We can take action now. The opportunity for you to start preparing for your next level is today. Don't focus on doing tomorrow what you can prepare for today. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? Don't get caught up in your stinking thinking that tells you that it's too late, you're too old, or your time is up. If you tell yourself these lies, they will become your truth, but nothing could be further from the truth. Make a decision to reject the old tapes that have been renting free space in your head for far too long and start playing new tapes. Your best is truly yet to come, but in order for it to come to fruition, you have to believe it, to conceive it, and ultimately receive it. I would say amen to that, right? Believe it, to conceive it, to receive it, right? And ultimately, as you receive it, then you retrieve it. Because the world has abundance to offer us. It really does. Yes, there are a lot of crazy things going on. There's a lot of darkness going on. Yes, we are still in the midst of this chaotic election cycle, if you will, although we got the victory and we will, continue to forge ahead, but there's still challenges. So when it comes to us, we can move either towards where I believe God is leading us, or whatever your belief is, or we can move away from it. But first, as the entry says, we have to believe it, to conceive it, to retrieve it. And fear and faith can never reside in the same place, as my good friend Jean Austin Jefferson says. Will you believe in yourself? Will you conceive all that this earth has to offer you? Will you open yourself up to abundance in love, abundance in peace, abundance in serenity, abundance in calm, abundance in whatever it is that is the desires of your heart, even abundance in healthy relationships? If you open yourself up and you believe that you can have that, right? Then you begin to conceive what that looks like. Then you're moving in the right direction of not only receiving it, but retrieving it. But it's up to you. The ball is in your court. Sylvia said, received and doing it. Prepare to pivot. I love it. I love it. So the challenge sometimes is not just what others are saying. The challenge is us. I see Helen on. Good morning, Helen. The challenge is us, right? Will we be in our own way? The difference between where sometimes we are and where we want to be sometimes can be the common denominator, which is us. Now, I'm not saying that there are not barriers. There are lots of barriers, right? There are lots of barriers that sometimes will prevent women from, getting to a certain place. I mean, we know that our new VP, Kamala Harris, elect, the new vice president, or VLOTUS, I say, she broke through, shattered a glass ceiling that had been a barrier for many women, and in particular, Black women and women of color, for years, right? in the whole history of the presidency, right, and the vice presidency, there has not been a woman in that position as well as the presidency. That is no longer a barrier. But that's only one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is really up to us to free our minds from the blocks, and free our minds from the gates, free our mind from the locks that would speak death and not life, that would speak to us and say that we're not enough, that we don't deserve it, that we're not prepared for it. I say get prepared. Get prepared for your blessing. Get prepared to believe that the best is yet to come. Get prepared to know that what is for you is for you. And it's uniquely designed for you for such a time as this. And when you open up your mind, you open up your heart, you open up your spirit, you open up your life, and you open up your arms to the abundance that life has, then phenomenal things can happen. That's the beginning of your transformation. We know that truth, trust, and transparency, well, that leads to transformational breakthroughs, right? And as you begin that transformational journey, all things are possible. We see that now. We have to hold ourselves accountable for where we're at and where we want to be. Because love, light, truth, and accountability, all of that equals hope and freedom. We bring the love, we bring the light, we illuminate the space, and we cast out darkness, first within ourselves. And then we begin to hold ourselves and others accountable for what is our inalienable right. So yes, love, light, truth, and then accountability, that equals hope. We should never give up hope. And we should never give up the ideal that we are all deserving of these freedoms that would make this a more pure and a more perfect union. And that requires that we have grit. What's your grit? What's your grit? How do you cast out fear, that fear factor that would keep you bound? And how do you use that grit? And I know we did this before, but I think it's worth it doing again. And think about how are you gritty? That's what I want to leave you guys with today. That how are you taking your grittiness, your grit, into this last quarter of the year to then usher you into the next year, so that you are not just ready, you're getting ready, you're being ready, and you're staying ready. Because today is going to be, it's a good day. It's a beautiful day. I want to hear what some of you all have to say. Larissa says, believe it, to conceive it, to retrieve it, commit to using this principle to prepare for 2021. I love it. I love it. And Helen said, yes, I'm excited for Kamala. Stop being afraid to succeed. Don't let the naysayers take your joy. The naysayers, the dream squashers, the ones that say you're not enough, all of them, absolutely, their assignment is canceled, because we can choose joy. I love it, Helen. Barbara says, no longer mindset. I'm working on a growth mindset. I love that. Everybody give a snap fingers for Barbara. I love that. And Larissa and Helen say amen, amen, amen. So while I am not a preacher or a minister, I kind of feel a little spiritual today. I guess I feel spiritual every day, because we are all connected and we all matter. And those who have been disenfranchised, those who have been left back, those have been left out, those have been on the margins, those who have been othered, those who have been seen invisible. It is our day. It is our day to reset our mindset, right? The book says a pathway to reset your mindset with intentional thoughts from the inside out. That is where change occurs. It occurs here first. And as we change our mindset, we change our beliefs. And as we change our beliefs, we change our actions. And as we change our actions, we change our lives. And as we change our lives, we change our community. And as we change our community, guess what? We change our world. That's how it works. It starts with us. We must be the change we wish to see in each other. And we can start now. Helen says, keep an open mind and an open heart. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jen says, being a poll worker and doing the phone banking for the people in Philadelphia made her feel proud, made hundreds of calls and had great conversations with Democrats. We will rebuild back better this country. And I would say, yes, I'm so proud of you for doing that. But I also would put a pin in that, because we have to find a way to come together and find common ground. So these days, I don't want to just talk to Democrats. I want us to win, because I do believe in the policies that we will create for all people. But I also want to talk to Republicans, and I want to talk to independents, because I don't believe that we should separate ourselves based on red and blue and white and black and Asian and purple and whatever color you represent. We are human, the human race, and this is the time for us to begin to see our humanity, all of us, and have empathy for everyone. Because I don't know, and you don't know, what position you would be in if you grew up differently, from a different home, from a different background, from a different place. So let's find some common ground. BJ's on it. BJ, it's good to see you. She said, keep an open mind. Your past is not your future. It is your story to write. Let go of the fear that prevents you from moving forward in life. Yes, absolutely. Guess what? It is your story. So since you're going to write it anyway, and you can write the chapters however you want, why don't you make the story nice and big and juicy and beautiful, full of abundance and love and peace and serenity? Why not do that? Why not write this most amazing story, so that when you get an opportunity and you're older and you've transitioned to a place where you're more settled, whomever you're sharing that story with, it's a phenomenal story that you are the bomb.com. Dr. Gail said, your message is powerful. Thank you, Dr. Gail. And Barbara says, you bought it today, Dr. RG. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I feel really good today, and I miss you. And I'm so pleased and honored that you share Wednesday mornings with me and with Morgan and with our crew. We have created something I believe that is very, very special. So this is my ask. You just said, surround yourself with people that build you up and love you for who you are. Absolutely. People that speak life, not death, and people that illuminate you. It's your heart that matters, right? Matters of the heart. I always leave the show feeling hope. Oh, thank you, Larissa. So this is my ask of you. We are a crew. We are our core. We've been riding this thing since back in March. Please share it with other people. Please ask people to come on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., whether they come on through IG or Facebook or YouTube. Ask them to join the Ask Dr. RG YouTube page. We want to continue to put more content. Morgan and I are really spending some quality time together over the holidays, thinking about the projects that we want to do and the ways in which we want to continue to illuminate light and love and send it your way and share as a part of the crew. So if you can do us that favor and share the word, let other people know that we're on, pass this video on to your platform so that they can see what we're doing and how we're creating a community here. I would be so, so appreciative of that. And I know Morgan as well. And if you know anyone that's interested in therapy, even if it may not be me, maybe I can refer them to, another person if it doesn't work, but at least begin the stages. If they're looking for a safe place to process their pain or their challenges or what have you, have them reach out to us contact us at connectionsmatterllc.com. That's contact us at connectionsmatterllc.com or 215-789-6999. And if anybody's interested in purchasing the book, we've got some revisions. We're ordering new copies and they will be here shortly. And so we will be able to send those out. You all can purchase them or maybe purchase for a gift at drrgconnects.com. All right. This has been awesome. I want to make sure that I got everybody's comments in. Dr. Gail says, I feel strong connection, President-elect Biden, because of Wilmington and my birth state, and Newark was my hometown. My desire is to return to the great state of close relationships. And Dr. Jill Biden is a Philly girl, so we feel really connected in that way. And of course, you all know HU as well. Jen says, many thanks for your spiritual and enlightening conversations this morning. This is truly a wake-up call. You all, power of prayer takes you a long way. I love you, Mom. She calls me Mom. Thank you so much, Jen. So appreciative of you so much. And you're such an inspiration to many others. God loves and blessing. Thank you so much. And Gail says Delaware is her birth state. I knew that. Yes, yes. All right, guys. Listen, that's all I got. I got to go. This feels, I can't really even call this work. This is just me hanging out with family, right? You guys are our family. So listen, I will see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. sharp. We love you. If no one else told you that you are loved today, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it. We will see you next Wednesday. Have a beautiful day on purpose from our heart to yours.